So with that being said, guys, welcome, 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 welcome to Court Vision with So Pretty Tony. And we are in the building. Let me get the scoreboard up because without it, I can't give you the proper stats all the way through. So let's get there. We're here. But while I'm talking about the stats and going over some of the things that intangibles that happened or didn't happen in this game, and looking at the point spread. So, like I said, I got to see just a little bit of it. But I want to be clear. You cannot critique a game fully unless you've actually truly seen the game. I'm a firm believer in that. So I had to make sure that I went back and I looked at a lot of the game. What's going on, ADP? I thank you for coming in the building. Thank you for rocking with me. Who else? Big girl, always number one fan. I appreciate y'all coming in. Everybody come on in. When you're coming in, please hit the like button. Yes, Keisha, close in time. So this is just a quick recap of TCU since I didn't get a chance to call the game yesterday. I was on the road, but once I quickly got off the road, I got to see a little bit of the fourth quarter. I did not get to see the ending, however, but I did see the bottom of the third. And I kind of skimmed through the first and second quarter to see what in the world was happening and why did the game end up and turn out the way that it did, especially when Olivia Miles had 31 points. She had 31 points. She was knocking them down left and right. And when you have your point guard, and I'm going to say point guard, putting up numbers like that, you got to roll. I did see, as usual, Suarez getting herself in foul trouble and making it extremely difficult to be of use for her team. Hunter had a great game. Hunter did a phenomenal job in this game as well. Hunter had, what did Hunter have? Hunter, let me get to the individual scores. I know that Hunter was a great facilitator, but she did some of your early work for you, which was great. So Hunter had 17. Hunter had 17. She was rocking and rolling with Olivia Miles. You had Suarez had 20, but Suarez could not stay out of foul trouble. When you are a key ingredient of your team, it is hard for you to sit back and or for fans to sit back and watch you kind of take yourself out of the game, which allows you to help your team win. When we say that TCU has to have a big three, they really truly have to have a big three. It's difficult for them to do the things that they would like to do, and get the wins that they want when only one player is getting it done. However, like I said, you had 3 big threes, but you have Suarez who fouled out of the game. She had 4 fouls in one quarter. The third quarter, she got 4 fouls in the third quarter. I'm frozen here, guys. I don't know why I'm frozen. Let's see. Okay, now I'm no longer back up there. There we go. I don't know what caused or what the reason was for Suarez to just get 4 fouls in one quarter. So she had to sit down with literally seconds left in the third quarter, which made the coach have to sit her the majority of the fourth. But how can you sit her when you need her to play? You need her to get the job done. She played 26 minutes, had 20 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers. That, to me, she was 5 of 14. So this was one of her most efficient games since the preseason, right? Because the preseason, we saw Suarez, we saw what a dominating factor that she would be, how she would, and what she would do and what she would bring to the team, which was great. But you have to give credit where credit is due. And credit was due and given to Olivia Miles, who actually truly was able to really shine in this game. She was 11 for 20, which, that's a good somewhat percentage. She was 4 of 9 at the 3-point line. So a couple of those fouls were questionable. Yeah, I did see that. I don't know what it is, big girl, when it comes to Suarez and the fouls that they call on them. And sometimes you just can't dig yourself in a hole, because what TCU did was they dug themselves in a hole in the first quarter, rolling into that second, and they had to kind of pull themselves out. And sometimes when you're playing from behind, it's rush time instead of staying poised, because you had so much game to play. Especially in the third quarter, you got to realize you have a whole nother quarter to play, and you can't put your team in that type of predicament, right? Silva only had 2 points. Tell me why in the world your post player only have 2 points. She was 1 of 4, which means she only shot the ball 4 times. No efficiency there whatsoever for Silva. Silva is the tallest thing on the floor, and I just, for the life of me, can't understand what it is or why this takes her to this realm. Let's see. I'm frozen again, y'all. I know why I'm frozen. Let's see. Heh. For some reason I'm frozen. Let me get back up on the panel here. All right, I'm back up on the panel. Why I'm frozen, I couldn't tell you. It is the coach's fault sometimes when the coach isn't paying attention and he's not being imperative. I think that when Suarez got the third foul, she should have come out of the game, even though the clock was winding down in the third, because you really needed her in the fourth. And she just seems to be at the wrong place at the wrong time a lot of the times, and that's just crazy. However, Silva just not getting it done. She had 5 boards, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, no blocks, no steals. I mean, you can't be that big and that and nothing happens. And you give me 20 minutes. You give me 20 minutes and you give me nothing out of that 20 minutes. We turn around and Hunter played 37 minutes. Hunter played the most minutes of everyone. She was 3 minutes shy of playing the entire game. However, she had 17. She was very efficient, very on point, very well within the game. She was 8 of 12. She was 1 of 3 at the 3-point line. Didn't make any trips to the free throw line, but she got 4 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal. And the great thing about Hunter in this game is she had 0 turnovers. Big B played 30 minutes. She played 10 minutes more than Silva. She had 2 points. 2 points. Come on, man. This is crazy. So she had 2 points. She only shot the ball twice in an entire 30 minutes. She only shot the ball twice. That's diabolical. She had 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 1 steal. Olivia Miles played 33 minutes. She had 21 points. She was 11 of 20, like I said a minute ago. That is a very efficient number. 4 of 9 at the 3-point line, 5 of 6 at the free throw line. Dang, they're perfect. 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, and 2 steals. Still a full stat line, very balanced, well played game for Olivia Miles. And then we go to the bench players. Besham had played 6 minutes. She gave you nothing but 2 rebounds. And one of those, she had a turnover. You had Buford, who gave you 26 minutes. She gave you 5 points. She was 2 of 4 from the field, 1 of 2 from the 3-point line, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, and 3 blocks. You have Parker. Parker came in the game. Parker had played 4 minutes. She gave you 2 points. Can't be upset with Parker because that's the best that Parker is going to be able to give you with 4 minutes, right? That was that relief moment. And I think that they brought her in just to give some type of hope when it came to another big on the floor. But she played 5 minutes. I don't know what the deal was with Sheffy, but Sheffy only played 5 minutes. She had 1 steal. That's it. The entire game. The entire game. That's all she had. Come on. Come on, internet. 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 Let's see if I go. Uh-huh. 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 One second, guys. One second. Get me back up there. All right. So, let's stop circling here. Where my picture go? I have no earthly idea, but I know you can. I know you can hear me. ah. Um. Let me see if I can get this right here. Enhance. It's a very slow going. Sorry, guys. This internet is tripping on me right now. We gonna make it work. We gonna make it work. We gonna make it work and twerk just like that. Come on, come on, come on. You can do it. What's up, She Wins? I see you. I see you in the building. Thanks for coming in the building. Just in the TCU Colorado game. You think the team mentally checked out? That's something to be reckoned with. That's very interesting to know. They may have. I don't know. What I saw from this game here, I was able to really capture how well your guards played, because usually your guards are pretty sloppy. And for your big three to be on one and to hit double figures and high double figures like that, somewhere along that line, they figured it out. But by the time they figured it out, they came from behind. And by the time they figured it out, you put yourself in a situation where it's like, hey, well, where are we now? Now I'm in foul trouble. What are we doing next? What's the purpose? How are we doing? Right? So if the bench isn't going to help you out when they're coming in for the couple of minutes that they're getting here and there, then that's crazy. That's real crazy. What up? Cut the ish, Keisha. I see you. I see you. Thank you for coming in the building. Thanks for coming in the building. I don't know what's going on with my internet here. My internet looking like Fred Flintstone right about now. And so I'm going back and forth between the links real quick. And we left off of Sheffy. And Sheffy, like I was saying, Sheffy didn't give you nothing. Sheffy literally, like absolutely literally played 5 minutes and gave you absolutely zero. And so there's nothing you can do about that. Then you come down to Shar. Shar played 13 minutes. 13 stinking minutes, y'all. 13. And gave you nothing. Eddie P, you think they stay good to go even though they lost the game? They're dropping by the minute, but I do think that they still will find their way into the tournament. They just have to figure out how to come together and put those type of numbers that you see up there together at the same time. They have to be able to put those numbers up all the time, every minute, every game moving forward. They can't have no lax moments. They just can't. They can't have any lax moments. They can't have any lax moments. Yeah, they can't have any lax moments. And when going through that, it just makes for a rough patch for this team to be able to bounce back and forth from a positive standpoint. Games that they should have won, they lost. And there was a game that I thought that the team was actually better, but they managed to pull that game out. Remember, it was a buzzer beater. But again, when you put yourself in a situation and you try to claw your way out, you have to claw your way out. Sometimes it doesn't look good and it doesn't fare in your favor sometimes. So you have to figure out other entities. And moving right along to Colorado. Colorado had 3 players. I'm gonna say 4. Actually, 1, 2, 4 players. They had 4 players when I was watching the game that did it all. Right? You have Beston, who played 19 minutes. She only gave the team 2 points, 5 rebounds, 1 turnover. That's a starter. And that's her first name is Tabitha. You have Dutat, who played 30 minutes and only gave her team 4 points. But you know what Dutat did? Dutat defended. Had great defending moments on key plays. Keeps keeping me black. But anyway, moving right along, you had Jade Musgallo, who played 27 minutes. Gave you 23 points. So when a player can give you just about as many points as minutes they've played, they ball out of control. She was 7 of 11, 9 of 10 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal. That's as good as it's going to get in most games for most players. And then you turn around and you have another starter, McErlin. McErlin played 12 minutes, had 0 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover. Walker, 35 minutes, 15 points, 7 of 12 from the field. That is another efficient game. Another efficient game for Walker. And Walker balled. Walker had 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 4 steals. She did a great job. And you have Greer. Greer played 25 minutes, gave you 17 points. Greer's another player that came off the bench and did her due diligence. She put the work in. Then you turn around, she had 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 turnovers, but 17 points. I mean, if you can take away 2 of those 3 turnovers and she have only 1, they still, both teams did a pretty good job from the last time I've seen Colorado play this season and the last game that TCU played. TCU only had 10 turnovers, and Colorado had 8. Then you have back to Greer. Greer had 17 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 turnovers. And then you have Crook. Crook had played 4 minutes and didn't give you much of anything, but still was able to grab down 2 rebounds, which is still critical in certain moments of the game, and it is key. You may not be the person that put up the numbers, but you are definitely the person that defends well, grab the boards when boards are needed, give the right type of screens. I did see her give a hellacious screen in one of the plays, but other than that, she had no points. Newer played 5 minutes and gave you nothing but a rebound. You had Gooden, who played 8 minutes, gave you nothing other than 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 turnover. To me, that equates to a +0. And then you had Wooden that played 35 minutes, played more minutes evenly with Walker than everybody else on the team. She's a bench player, and she had 19 points. She was 6 of 15 from the field, but 3 from 6 at the 3-point line, 4 for 4 at the free throw line, and had 2 rebounds, 6 assists. So that was your facilitator of the game for Colorado. With TCU putting up 50, what is that? They put up 54% from the field, and Colorado put up 49% from the field. And that's your stats. That is your stats of that game. That's how that game went. Just watching just the stamina of what this team was able to do and pull 3. But I saw Olivia Miles put up number after number after number after number. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. But it's not for me to believe. It's for me to make sure that they achieve it. If you don't believe it, achieve it. That's what they say. If you don't believe it, achieve it. Let's get back to just some more key moments of this game. How Olivia Miles was able to shift and maneuver throughout this game was one of her better games that I've seen her play in her career. And that's no cap. That is no cap. She shot the ball deeper than I've ever seen her shoot the ball from the 3-point mark. She shot, of course, as they would say, Caitlin Clark, Sabrina Ionescu deep threes. And she was solid with it. If you missed the matchup, I am going to suggest that you go back and watch this game, because although it was a rough start for TCU, for them to come back the way that they did and take the lead, and they had several lead changes after that, it afforded them the opportunity to be able to be in that game and possibly win that home. But of course, it didn't pan out that way. But it was a good game. It was very intense. The momentum shift, like I said several times, it had big key plays in there. Again, Olivia Miles got the ball for the last shot. They were down by 1, and she got the ball for the last shot. And her not squaring up fully to take that shot, to me, is crazy. But when you're in the moment of the game, sometimes that happens. It happens like that sometimes, and it ain't much that you can really do about it other than pull yourself back up from the reins and see what happens from there. Yeah, but I would go back and I would watch. I'm going to say like the one big moment that shifted the game. And it was Olivia Miles. I think she had 2 or 3 threes back to back, and the momentum just shift for Colorado. It's kind of almost like they were dead in the water. They didn't know what to do, but they stayed poised and they calculated what they needed to do next. And then they were good to go at that point. They stayed in the game. TCU stayed in the game. They went back and forth. And I do like when games go down to the wire because that means people are playing defense. And it's not just a sloppy game. As you can see, it was not that sloppy at all. At least I don't think it was that sloppy. I don't feel that it was that sloppy at all. And so with that, guys, the highs, I guess I could give you the highs of the game. So the highs of the game was the explosive third quarter. Like I said, I watched the bottom of the third quarter, and then I saw some of the highlights from the top of the third quarter on one of the TV timeouts. But it was so explosive in the third quarter where 33 points was dropped. It's the biggest scoring burst of any game for either team at any point in time. The offense resilience and the style of TCU was able to get them where they needed to go. Like I said, they started the game off in a rut, and Colorado had their ticket. But the resilience of them to fight and do what they did to have that stellar performance, putting up 33 points in that quarter, was crazy. Like I said, Olivia Miles, she went off. They stayed in it after trailing early and flipped the narrative of the game, flipped the narrative of what people thought was going to happen for those that actually left the game at halftime and never came back. And then how quickly they saw, oh my gosh, the game is now in TCU favor, but TCU, of course, couldn't hang on because your powerhouse at the time is sitting on the bench. So what do you do at that point? There's not much else that you can do. Overall scoring output was 79 points on the road. It's typically a winning production. But how you doing, Miss D? I see you. Yeah, putting up 27 points on the road is definitely a really big productive moment for a team like this. And the lows, of course, was the second quarter where they only scored 14 points, and it allowed Colorado to stay within reach. Closing the execution of the game, just 12 points in the fourth quarter. So just think, that was the killer for them. Offense was what kind of went cold, and it was the worst time for them to go cold. So that's a part of those moments of lows. How you doing? She wins. Thank you for coming to the building. That's those moment of lows that TCU have to figure out. How can I give 4 full high productive minutes in each quarter, each night that we play? Because they're kind of a yo-yo effect in quarters. Again, the biggest quarter was the third. The stellar quarter that stumped them was the second, because they only had the 14 points, and you let Colorado kind of stay in it and go off on their tangents. And then just, putting up only 12 in the fourth quarter is a reason why you lost this game. Super easy to define why they lost the game. And you had nobody on the court that was going to keep slashing and doing the things that Suarez and Hunter was doing, along with allowing Olivia Miles to put up as many threes as she did. And the defense lapsed. They lapsed a little early in the game. That's another part of the lows that I want to point out for TCU. They get in that moment where they have a lot of lows going on in key moments of the game that they should be at the pinnacle of the game and killing a team, because they have the potential to do that. Gave up 28 points in the first quarter, which of course forcing the chase. You force yourself to have to chase a team when you let them put up 28 points on you and you can't even match it. So that's the lows of that Colorado put up 28 points in the first quarter, second quarter, and then only scoring 12 points in the fourth quarter. So I guess you can say the only really true solid quarter they had was the third. That was the only really true solid quarter that they had. They showed championship level firepower within this game by pulling themselves back in that third quarter. And in those stretches that they have, those moments where they're killing the team is really important, but you need to see them do it all the time, not be a sometimey team. I don't know what it is with this sometiminess they got going on. There we go. I'll put that picture up since my photo won't act like it want to come back up. But yeah, the latter part of the game is always a killer for TCU. The last 4 games I've seen them come in the game in the fourth quarter and just allow teams to attack them in ways that they look defeated when they still have more to go, but they seem gassed. And that's just because either Olivia Miles is in foul trouble or Suarez is in foul trouble or Silva. Hunter doesn't get into foul trouble that often. Neither does Sheffy and Buford. They usually stay pretty solid. However, your players that's putting up the big numbers end up in foul trouble, and there's really nothing else that you could do about it at that point. But you got to give more of an effort every quarter. You can't give up 28 points in the first quarter and think that everything is gravy. Then turn around and put up 14 points, only 14 points in the second. You come out in the third, and I don't know what fire was lit up under you, but you put up 33 points in the third. Only to turn around and only give the teams 12 points. And you can't win a ball game like that. It's impossible unless the team is just that trashy. And Colorado is far from that. It's the confidence of Colorado that afforded them the win of this game. On Colorado's side, I'm going to give you the highs and lows for them. Let's see. They had a fast start. When I went back and I skimmed through the first quarter, they had a fast start of the game, and that's why they were able to put up them 28 points and didn't allow TCU to settle in. And then they turn around and in clutch moments of the fourth quarter, put up 18 points. So if they put up 18 points to TCU 12 and the game was already close, well, naturally, the team's going to come back and win, right? Although TCU still had the last shot. They had the last shot that went to Olivia Miles because she was the player that had the hottest hand. She had 31 points. But the clutch finish in the fourth quarter was the killer. They came in clutch. They put up 18 points to TCU 12, and they were able to win by 1 point. And then the balance scoring of the other players on the team, it punched 28 in the third quarter. So although TCU put up 33, and it was the biggest moment for both teams, that third quarter, coming out fighting and battling and putting up the numbers. But the lows for Colorado, I would say, is the second quarter, only 6 points. It's crazy. Only 6 points. So that goes to tell you how TCU got back in the game from the first quarter. So only 6 points in the second quarter, and nearly losing control of the game completely at that point. But luckily they have what you call a halftime. A halftime for them to go in and regroup and figure it out. The defensive breakdown in the third quarter, which allowed TCU to put up the 33 points, which we talked about. It was a big surge for TCU, and Colorado just didn't have an answer. They did not have an answer in the third quarter. Yes, they were able to capitalize by putting up some numbers, but it was not enough. They put up 28. But the surge that TCU put on, that stellar performance to give them the 33 points in the third quarter, kind of stunned Colorado at that moment. And then swinging the momentum swings was the game matchup, and it kind of shook it up a little bit with the game swinging back and forth, and it shakes up the middle of the game despite winning it. Once it was shook in the third quarter, luckily they were able to balance themselves and come out with the win. And with that, guys, we got to understand that some teams are good at being able to stay poised all the way through. And when you just don't have a team that's consistent like that, you run into moments like this. I'm not saying that TCU just isn't solid. Well, yes, I am. I'll take that back. Yes, I am. They're not as solid as they need to be, right? There's a number of things that they can do to work on their chemistry. The chemistry breakdown amongst them just put them in a whirlwind sometimes, and you will hope that they can find ways of a better way of coming together when they have those weak moments within a team and they're not gelling on the court at the same time. But nevertheless, Colorado survived the moments. They survived the twist. They survived the shift back and forth. They survived the mood swings. They survived the highs and the lows on both ends of the floor, offense and defense. And that's what you just got to commend them for that. And from that point, then what do? But shout out to Colorado for their win, their stellar win over TCU. But at the same time, what an amazing game for our girl, Olivia Miles. She could not give them the win, but she did give them one of the best performances I've seen her put up in quite some time. And so with that, guys, thank y'all for coming in, listening to the recap of the TCU versus Colorado game. That's going to wrap this up for this here. And I'm going to call it an episode, because when you come back and you're doing these recaps, it's episode after episode to kind of give you a tween. And usually we give it to you right after the game is over, so it's not broken down by coming in and giving it to you at this momentum, at this moment by itself silently. But because I didn't call the game, I wanted to make sure that I still came in and give you guys the breakdown of the game. But that's it for CourtVision with So Pretty Tony. Thank you for coming in the building. I appreciate you. Those that came, I hope you hit the like button. Those that will come in and watch the recap, please make sure the playback, please make sure you hit the like button when you come in. Do not leave without hitting that like button. It is imperative that you hit the like button. It gives let YouTube know that, hey, put me in the algorithm. People want to see me. They want to follow me. They want to hear what I have to say. They love the content that I'm bringing them. So it's important that we do that. I hope you all enjoyed, of course, this breakdown through and through. And please, again, subscribe if you haven't. That's why I got that little flashing thing saying subscribe. So with that, thank you all. ADP, thank you for coming to building. Big girl, she wins. Who else came in the house? Ms. D. Thank you guys. You're always there. Keisha, I want to thank you guys for coming to building. And with that, guys, you know what? I'm going to catch you on the next rebound.